Island Rhythms, your Caribbean cultural destination. And here is your host, Esther J. Thomas.
Welcome to another wonderful edition of Island Rhythms. I'm your host, Esther Thomas. And of course, the last time Barris Hammond was here, I told you I was totally lost for words. Well, I'm lost for words again because with me this evening is none other than the strong one, Miss Etana. Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
First, I want to commend you and such an awesome job. Anywhere you go. And by the way, I'm a big fan. You're probably your #1 fan. I follow you.
Thank you.
You're on my MySpace, and I absolutely admire you. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to say exactly how old I am, but I'm going to say that I admire you because of your age, where you're going, and what you're doing for the children that are following behind you. You're so humble and absolutely a stunning beauty inside and out.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The first time I met Etana was at Irama in New York at the Apollo Theater. And at that time, her album was just coming out, The Strong One, on June 15. It has now dropped, and Etana is on her way up. The sky is the limit. And I have to tell you that tonight, after being at 960 and witnessing for myself a performance, just a brief one by Etana, that I am still lost for words. Etana, how did you become the way that you are? Your upbringing, the things that you've done in your life, where did you get your start?
Well, I wasn't always a goody two-shoe or a good child. That I was one of those that demanded what I want. I was very, I knew, like from the beginning, every moment of my life, I always know what I want, and somehow I just fight and strive real hard to get it. And I remember being in a group and singing, R&B, rock music, Victoria's Secret Pink, thongs,
stilettos,
you know what I'm saying, the works. And I just realized that that's not what I wanted. Music and all these words and thoughts come from deep within, some place that we can't even touch like that, and so I feel like if it comes from inside, then I don't need to be naked to show it, So I decided I was going to go to Jamaica and open up a business. And I was done with music. And I met Richie Spice and, the whole family from Fifth Element.
Richie Spice is a friend to Island Rhythms.
Right. And, well, I didn't know that, but Richie Spice is an artist I also respect. From being on the road, being a backup singer, watching him. He's the coolest person, the calmest person, the most quiet person that ever been around, the most quiet artist at least.
Very humble. Very humble, such as yourself.
No,
yes.
Seriously humble, But yeah, man, after being on the road with him, people kept asking, who's the girl? Who's the girl? Who's the girl? So Fifth Element decided, all right, we're going to release a song and see how it go. And the first song I recorded was Time for a Little Girl. And you asked me what made me decide to sing the songs or to be the way I am now. And this little 5-year-old girl say, me know your song, me know your song. And I said, sing the song. And she said, from your ready feet, boy, then now we then.
And
that was my prior song, And I said, oh my God, she's 5 years old, and I just introduced her to sex as a woman. And I said, you know what? I need to make a change. I need to let every little girl growing up know. I need to let them know, say, yo, yes, a woman. That we have a lot of things in us. Sexuality, love, a whole heap of things that is very precious, and more expensive than anything that you could physically touch. And that is what's most important, and that's what I need to let them know. And through music, I decided, that was the road that I was going to take. And I've been doing that since. So the first album came out June 17 with a whole heap of messages, whole heap of vibe. But my greatest joy is to see the youths them now singing, especially when I go to the schools.
Them can't stop the way.
Or even them can't water down, them can't hide the truth from the youths. That's their favorite song in Jamaica and all the Caribbean countries of Augusta. I'm glad and I'm grateful for the inspiration from that little 5-year-old girl.
And that's awesome, just to see that, you know, we click on our TVs, we turn on our TVs every day, and commercially what we see is like half naked people, you know, and this is the way you live and this is what you do. But to have somebody such, you know, with such inspiration and at your age, you know, telling kids that there is a different way, there is another way that we can make it happen for us. Our dreams don't have to materialize from us being nude or from us, you know, showing something, you know, of ourselves that we should keep privately to share with someone that we care about.
We have so much more inside to give and to show than what's on the outside, you know, because that's only physical. And for the females that, you know, walk around with themselves half naked trying to get attention, believe me, just like anything in life, everything has a season, you know, and it depends on how you approach it and the choices you make, you know. It depends on, that determines how long it's going to last. So if you approach it wrong, believe me, you have to make sure so you start praying every day from now to make sure it turn out right, because it just might not.
Exactly.
You know? So as a female, just will stand firm, believe in yourself, and know that you don't have to be naked to attract anyone in a black man, because they're so attracted to us, they can't get enough of us. They will never leave, they can't stop, that's it, we have it like that. So just, you don't have to be naked and show it up. So make them imagine, make them wonder. I wonder, you know what I'm saying? You
what
know,
it would be like. Exactly.
Yeah, make them
just
wonder.
The enticement.
Give them something to think about.
And you know, as black women, we're losing that because we're so apt to showing ourselves and being out there and exposing ourselves. But we need to entice them, like you said, and that's just so awesome. What I wanted to ask you is Etana. I just love saying that name, Etana. And it's just synonymous with everything, synonymous with growth and upbringing and strength. Tell me a little bit about that name.
My given name is Shauna, and it means pretty. But to me, every black woman is beautiful all over the world, you know. But we all, seems like we're starting to forget the strength of a woman, of a black woman. And I don't want that to be forgotten. My grandmother has passed on, but she's left a lot with me. And I remember the days when my mom used to tell me how she used to carry the stone upon her head from the quarry and walk to work so that all 7 of them could go to school, you know. And for being a woman, even my grandfather, they died simultaneously, one after the other, but they died together in the same yard, even though he had another family out there. And she stuck by him through thick and thin and never even go in front of a pastor to say, I do. And I think that's one of the greatest things ever. And we need to remember the strength of a woman, remember all that we're capable of, because there is no limit.
Absolutely not. Now, your songs, all the things that you sing about are so inspirational. Do you wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and grab a pad and go, the strong one? How does all that stuff come into your head? Where does that come from?
I don't know. Like, Roots was a song. Gambia was the first place, my first performance outside of Jamaica was in Africa. And I met this little boy who told me they beat him in school to learn English. He's about 7 or 8. And I was taking him inside of a restaurant to sit and have lunch with me. And the little boy said, no, he wants to stay outside. So I said, why? And he said, I don't want to get used to something I know I'll never be able to afford right now. So I'd rather stick to the life I know. And he's about 7 or 8, you know. And I remember leaving Africa and he was going in one direction and the bus was going in the other. And I started writing the song thinking about him. And I just saw my lyrics them come. Sometimes they might come early in the morning. Sometimes it might be on the road. Sometimes somebody might say something to me and it just brings back a lot of stuff. So it depends. I could get the influence from the man behind the camera. Anybody, you know.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. How do you feel your album is reaching out, not just to the youth, but to the people? How do you feel? What's your personal opinion on what your album is doing right now?
Boy, let me tell you, I can only say I'm completely grateful. Because I never thought, not that I don't believe in my music, but remember when I got to Jamaica, I was done with music. Okay? So, to even a year later, 2 years later, to have an album out, it's still, I'll know sometime in a click, you know, like I can't believe that it's out and people actually going into the stores. And I remember the last time I went to Best Buy, there was one left and I bought the CD and was
I,
walking
and
out.
I still don't have one without interrupting. I'm still trying Best Buy and everybody, so you know.
I was walking through the door. Well, the lady saw me buying the album, and I guess she was looking for the album and she couldn't find it. And she asked me, please, if I could either give her the album or if she could buy it. And things like that is just heartwarming and shows that, you know, once you believe in yourself, and once you stand up and just believe in yourself, anything is possible. And once you put the Most High first in everything, just leave everything in that man, and just like a baby, you know, just lay there, and we take care of you, yeah, man.
Now, did you see yourself where you are now? Did you dream this? Because a lot of the people that I talk to say, well, you know, it was a dream and it materialized and you have to keep dreaming. Did you see Etana right here today, traveling the United States, traveling the world, doing concerts? Did you see yourself here?
First time I was getting into the group, my friend had to beg me to go down there and do the audition. And I got in on the same day. And to even walk away from the group that was, you know, established, we were getting there, we were getting ready to go on tour and everything, but realizing that me have to be naked for sure, my talent, I walk or left that, because I don't think that's a part of me. And I never, like, I was always singing when I was a child. In chorus class, I used to throw paper on black people here, and, you know, I never took it serious, not ever one time. But the day that I took it serious was the day I met that little girl, because I know her mother history. I know her grandmother history, and her mother basically abandoned her and left her for growing as some stranger, and you know. And I just wanted, at least my story, at least something to carry through. And these days, when I see her walk through the streets of Augustown, with her little handbag like a real princess, you know, and she talk real proper for a girl come to Garrison. She about 8 now, you know. She standing here high and she walk with respect. And that is what I wanted to put in her, not from a ready feed boy, I didn't know it, you know. So I've accomplished a lot, and I think the greatest inspiration is my grandmother first and her.
That's awesome. Where do you see yourself in about the next 10 years? Do you see Etana having a serious family and being in movies? Where do you see yourself?
I can see myself being in movies. I can see myself being in a lot of things that is positive, giving inspiration. And thought to the young mind, you know. Everything that is positive, new album, all kind of things, my own line of clothes and everything. I see myself doing a lot of things, but first and foremost, I just allow the most. I have thoughts, I have visions, but I just allow the most. I have to carry me where I need me for God, you know, and I just follow.
So inspirational. If there was one person that you can have a collaboration with, just one person, who would that person be?
One person?
I know there's like a ton of them, like 1,000,001 of them that comes to your mind. But that dream person, when before you got into Etana and before you got into singing and all this stuff that's happening for you right now, if there was one person you could call up and say, hey, I want to do a duet with you, who would that be?
What I want to add, I got at least 3 and I got to say them.
Okay, that's fine.
Kanye West, Nas, definitely Kanye West and Nas, and let me see what female. That's kind of hard too. Bette Midler.
Oh my goodness, that is totally awesome. That's awesome because I could imagine that, and I could see something big coming from that. I definitely have to tell you that Bette Midler would not be who I would choose. I definitely, for some strange reason, you put me in the mind of, you give me a vibe from Tanya Stephens. And not the kind of raunchy kind of vibe, but just the same kind of, like, you know, the same kind of inspirational type thing, you know, looking out for the youths, that type of stuff.
The reason why I said Bette Midler, you know, is when I was younger, I remember always singing a song called From a Distance.
That was my mom's favorite song, and my mom has gone on, she's passed on, and that was one of her favorite songs.
That song, I remember graduating, and I was singing that song, and every time I sing that song, I used to cry. And I mean, I was just so small, but I felt it from then, you know, and it is a song that's always meant something to me. And I feel like if a woman can go that deep with her music from a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white.
That's awesome. That's awesome, and she is an awesome person too.
Yeah,
and
man.
I want to tell
I don't
you,
know her personally. I'm gonna tell you.
Yet you don't know her personally yet.
Yeah, but the music. Yeah, man.
She's awesome. I just want to let you know that eventually I'm going to see you on Broadway. I just know it. I feel it. And I'm telling you that it is going to happen for you, because watching you perform tonight, you are not only, I'm not going to say a star, because to me you're beyond that. You're there already. But I can definitely see you on Broadway doing something really, really large and getting there. And so I'm going to write this down in the back of my memory pad and remember that I spoke to you and told you that, because I see that happening for you. And I just want to say it's just an awesome blessing to have you sitting here with me. And you're so humble, such a humble person. And you're you. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, that's it. Music, I mean, for me, I just music, you know, to me being known, or my songs being known, don't make me better than nobody else. It's just message and music that just need to be out there, and that's it. You know, for reach lots of people, and if you can do that through music, you don't need nothing more. You
Awesome.
know?
Do you find yourself getting into any sort of riffs or any sort of ruffling anybody's feather because of being who you are? You know, other artists that probably don't understand where you're coming from or what your point of view is?
Well, I wouldn't say other artists, but I remember making a comment on the TV the other day saying that if I'm in a relationship and my husband or my other half cheat on me, I wouldn't leave him. And I have a lot of women that just came down on me like, what you say? What you mean? You know? But to me, we're people, and sometimes even in relationships we forget that we're people. You know? I am me and you are you. Your other half is him. And you have to love that person for what they are and who they are.
Who they are, what they are. And 9 times out of 10, what women are looking for, and I say this every day and I will continue to say it, although 90% of the women disagree with me, that what a woman is looking for is somebody to love her for who she is,
right, what she is,
not the person that she pretends to be,
right,
just who you are.
Exactly. And you know what I mean, not pretending now. You get it just like you said. That's it.
And
you know?
And a lot of us, when we're in a group of women, will sit and we'll say, oh yeah, if he cheated on me, I would leave him and I would this and I would that. And the truth of the matter is that if you've invested so much time in a special person,
so much energy,
so much time, and you've grown with that person, why would you want to, when that person, because he is a human, just say, you know what, in your darkest hour, in the time when you need somebody to stand by your side, I'm out. And I just want to say that's not true. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree.
I'm standing by mine 99.9% of the time.
That's right.
That 1%.
I think the only time that 1% is if you get abusive. They start get some box in your face. You know you gotta go. For you go from him lift him on, so you know you gotta go. You have to set it straight right there and then. But to me, it's just like every relationship, like a child. No matter what a child do, you know, the mother and the father still have to love that child because it's for them child. So once you have somebody in your life that you call your next half, somebody that you say you love, make it even worse. You even go in front of God and say, yo, till death do we part. Although I think it's a good thing for them. But if you do it, you have to make it happen. You got to make it work. And if we get up and say I'm up and out, you're going to jump in our next relationship, and then you're going to...
It's going to be a cycle,
right,
which is what we have going on right
now. You got to cut down the numbers as a woman, the numbers you go through, you know. Yeah, so every time you skip and say, you know what, I'm out, that's another number.
That's another, and you're adding up. And then once you get past the 10 fingers, it's a very, very terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you, Etana, when you do say that. We have to stick by ours. And I think in society, that's part of what's wrong with us as a people today, is that we're so quick to up and leave, and so quick to just disappear and just give up. You know, even on our youths that are coming up today, it's just easy for us to just say, you know what, it's not mine, so forget it, you know.
Can't give up on them. I mean, I have one son. And let me tell you, I had him early. He gonna say, 8, and I had him early. I remember even being pregnant in high school. That's about all I'm gonna say. But let me tell you something. I think I have one son by birth, but I have a whole heap of children. And I choose, you can't leave the children behind. And the plan is, the goal is to make the next generation better than this one. And the only way you're going to do that is invest in time in the younger ones coming up. You know, you have to invest the time. You have to show them love. And start telling them the truth. Forget about the birds and the bees and making up stuff. Because they know every time you lie, they know.
You know, sometimes they even know much more than we do.
Yeah, and they sit there and say, Ma, like in their mind, I lied to my son one time. And I look in the rearview mirror and his face in the car and he was like... And he was like you can't tell him say anyways, like what my mother feel like, you know. So ever since that, I've never done that again. Every time my son asks me a question, I'm gonna tell him the truth, regardless if it's sexual, if anything I have to do with anything. Tell him the truth. Tell them the truth.
And that's that song. That's that song again.
Can't hide the truth from the youth.
You can't hide the truth from the
For
youth.
real.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's been a lovely edition of Island Rhythms. I'm your host, Esther Thomas. And blessing us this evening is none other than the strong one, which I love to call her Etana, the inspiration to the youth and also to women, keeping it locked right here on HPA and WINTV. Once again, Etana, thank you so much for blessing us and a wonderful performance tonight. You did an awesome job. Always do a wonderful job.
Thank
and
you.
I'm still looking for the CD, so if anybody out there has it, I need to get it on my iPod, so I'm going to go out and get it.
Soon as possible.
All right?
Yeah,
so it's been an awesome edition, and I just loved having you bless us with your presence this evening.
Stay positive.
All right? Okay.
God bless. Love.
All right. You take care.
Love and life.